Hey, everybody. Great to see all y'all out there in Son of Sam Landa. Hey, we got a great one for you today. Moet, I'm glad you're here. You know why I'm glad you're here? Because I'm feeling inspired. Yes, I am. I'm feeling super inspired right now. Why? Well, let's just say I feel good. Well, no, seriously. I was putting together this PowerPoint for all y'all, and it was just coming together so nicely. I was just like feeling so inspired and looking back at it and reading the letter and having such a good time. I figured let's put this live on the air. All right. So everybody, the gang's all here. Great to see you. So what are we doing today? Well, we are looking at the Borelli letter today. And we are going to analyze the hell out of it and prove once again that Disco Dave Berkowitz was indeed the author, the thought person, the person who was able to perfectly put it together in his head. It was like it's nothing to him. And we're going to basically once again disprove MMB. More Maury bullshit. So anyway, let's we got a lot to do today, so let's just get right into it. So sorry, morons. Disco wrote the Borelli letter. So, of course, what are we talking about here? We are talking about the famous first Son of Sam letter. There were two, the Borelli and the Breslin letter. We did the Breslin letter already. And in fact, we are going to do a little reprise tonight of it because I found some more stuff that I wanted to show you that I forgot to show you in the first episode. So anyway, we are carrying on. So the Borelli letter, of course, was left at the crime scene of the unfortunate murder of Valentina Suriani and Alexander Esau on April 17th, 1977. And of course, Valentina was Gary McNerney's best friend, and we had him on several times showing where they went to school, where she grew up, where she was living at the time of her unfortunate demise. So all those videos are on the thing. Hold on, I'm having some issues here. Hold on. So all those videos are up on the site, and you can check them out. So of course, let's read what Disco Dave said about this. So he talked about this in his letters to Abrahamson, and he said, the sixth incident was in the Bronx, a double murder of a young couple on the service road of the Hutchinson River Parkway. It was my best job because it resulted in 2 deaths. Plus, I left my first carefully concocted note on the scene. My shooting pattern improved greatly due to my fearlessness, which slowly developed in my 2-handed shooting method. 4 shots were fired. 3 hit the victims out of 4 fired. The man was hit twice in the head, the girl once in the face. Now, I was making the papers nearly every day. The chase was on, and the public was watching out for me. So, this is some heavy-duty stuff. Of course, here we have Valentina and Alexander, and I guess, you know, we learned how they met with Mike Zicola and Gary on one of our shows, and it was like so random the way that these two met. Could have gone any other way. You could check that out on our videos, but I wonder, like, this seems pretty serious here, you know, like to sit and pose for pictures formally like this, or maybe this was a prom photo. I have no idea. So Gary, if you seeing this either live or later, put it in the comments, or maybe Mike, you can do that as well. All right, so let's carry on. So of course, the Borelli letter was not released to the public, and this is huge because the person who wrote the letters, Berkowitz, that we're going to see today, that were written and found in his apartment, which contained terminology from the Borelli letter, there was no way that you could make the argument that he knew what was in the Borelli letter from reading it in the newspaper. In other words, he couldn't read it in the newspaper. So therefore, if we can find certain terms that match Well, that's a huge bolstering of the argument that he penned it himself. He couldn't copy it from the newspaper later. He couldn't read it and then copy it. And of course, the timeline all works out as well. How do we know that the letter wasn't released to the public? Well, several articles that spoke about this very thing. Here's the first. Police to killer of 5. We want to help you. I don't quite understand why they would do that, but I guess that was the psychology of the times. I mean, we want to help you. Anyway, the pertinent passage, the PP. At the scene of the latest murder on April 17th, the killer left a note signed Son of Sam. Police have not revealed the contents of the note, but described it as rambling, incoherent, and ghoulish. And of course, here's a very similar article. Cops to 44 killer, Son of Sam. We wish to help you. By Federici. This is a dude who then like covered, I remember his name is in The Ultimate Evil. So what's up to everybody in the chat? Great to see people popping in over here. We got 13, which is a nice little crowd for such short notice. I'm doing this on such short notice because I have the apartment blessedly alone tonight for the first time in quite a while. So I'm taking advantage of it. All right. So we wish to help you. A 1.5-page letter. While police have not released the contents of the note they found near the man's 2 most recent victims, April 17th, and then it goes on to say basically the same thing. And of course, we have a third article right here, which is basically the same article, just reprinted in another newspaper, the Kingston, I think up in Kingston this was. And it says the same thing. While police have not released the contents of the note. All right, so I think we have enough proof. Now, of course, the Breslin letter was printed, and it was printed in full by June 7th, just a few days after it was sent to Breslin. Hold on one second. But the Borelli letter was not. All right, let's carry on. So, of course, the Borelli letter mailed to homicide chief. I'm not even sure what his title was. I mean, I used to know it in the old days, but yeah, I don't forget that. Like I said, I've forgotten more than most people have known, and this is one of the things I forgot. So anyway, he misspelled homicide. I'm sure he misspelled that on purpose. Homicide. That would actually make a great. No. Let me not say that. I don't want to get blocked by YouTube. All right. That would make a great band name, I was going to say. All right. Let's get into this letter, of course. I am deeply hurt by your calling me a women hater. I am not, but I am a monster. I am the Son of Sam. I'm a little brat. When Father Sam gets drunk, he gets mean. He beats his family. Sometimes he ties me up to the back of the house. Other times, he locks me in the garage. Sam loves to drink blood. Go out and kill, commands Father Sam. Behind our house, some rest, mostly young, raped and slaughtered. Their blood drained. Just bones now. Papa Sam keeps me locked in the attic too. I can't get out, but I look out the attic window and watch the world go by. I feel like an outsider. I'm on a different wavelength than everybody else. Programmed to kill. However, to stop me, you must kill me. Attention, all police. Shoot me first. Shoot to kill, or else keep out of my way, or you will die. Papa Sam is old now. He needs some blood to preserve his youth. He has had too many heart attacks. Too many heart attacks. Oog, me hoot. It is Sunny Boy. I miss my princess most of all. She's resting at Our Lady's house, but I'll she her soon. I am the monster, a Beelzebub, a chubby behemoth. I love to hunt, prowling the streets, looking for fair game, tasty meat. The women of Queens are the prettiest of all. I must be the water they drink. I live for the hunt. My life, blood for Papa. Mr. Borelli, sir, I don't want to kill anymore. No, sir, no more. But I must honor thy father. I want to make love to the world. I love people. I don't belong on earth. Return me to Yahoos. To the people of Queens, I love you. And I want to wish all of you a happy Easter, and may God bless you in this life and the next. And for now, I say goodbye and good night. Police, let me haunt you with these words. I'll be back. I'll be back. To be interpreted as bang, 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 bank, bang. Ooh. Yours in murder, Mr. Monster. So anyway, that's the that's the Borelli letter. So now we're just going to get into proof that Disco wrote it. And of course, Moet goes, she goes back to the old school with the people of the world. Hey, yo, people of the world, say ho. Hey, yo, people of the world. When I say David, you say Berkowitz. David, David. Oh, when I say David, you say Berkowitz. David, David. All right, proof Disco wrote it. So, of course, Moet, you know I'm going to hit you up first. Berkowitz just loves people. I want to make love to the world. I love people. I don't belong on earth. Return me to Yahoos. To the people of Queens, I love you. And I went to wish you all a happy Easter, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically, this is the Borelli letter. Now let's check out some of Berkowitz's infamous apartment letters that they found in his apartment that were all written pre-arrest. All written a long time before he was caught. And what we're looking for is similar passages, okay? I, David Berkowitz, am merely a tool for Satan the devil. Uh-oh. That's it. That's it. I believe the cult theory now. I, David Berkowitz, am merely a tool for Satan the devil, but perhaps God has spared my life to an extent for heavenly purpose. Though I am suffering now, I want to help the people and warn them of the dangers of black magic and hope that others will see the light and trust in God. Please help warn the world of the terror that is Sam. Please help me. Sincerely, David B. Of course, we're looking for the words people. Okay. I said to Joaquin, why all the suffering and pain? Why do you bring so much destruction into the world? Joaquin laughed. To hell with the people of the world. The people of the world shall bow down to me, and I shall conquer. So anyway, okay, and down here, I was no longer permitted to speak to the people of Wicker Street. So of course, this dude just loved writing about people. Oh my God, here we go. The people of redacted Yonkers are the meanest, cruelest people to ever live. They have only one goal, and that is to hunt and maim, destroy, and kill for the people of Glenwood, section of Yonkers. Their sadistic, vicious, and brutal assaults upon innocent people in the community cannot be allowed to continue. For the love of God and all of humankind, we, the people of Yonkers, must fight against these deadly foes and destroy these parasites before they spread. The people of Redacted are determined to the health, peace, and well-being of the people, and are preventing the citizens of Yonkers from enjoying good health and the partaking of the pursuit of happiness. This is why a demon from the police, as a citizen and taxpayer, an end to the reign of terror that the people have installed in us. I don't think I read that. I don't think I read that one right. This dude loved writing about people. People. Right? People. He just loved writing about people. People of Yonkers, a chance for a new and better life with peace and goodwill toward everyone. I love people. Uh, we already looked at that one. I wonder what makes people like you. I cannot imagine what animals you are and why you are trying to hurt your fellow human beings. What have we, the people, done to you far for you to turn on mankind and try to hurt innocent people? Have the people of Yonkers treated you? I mean, come on. I mean, like, there's more people here. I mean, I don't need to go on anymore. This is insane. He loves writing about people. He's always talking about people. Like, yo, people of the world, say ho. So now this hits differently, right? When you read this from the Borelli letter, I want to make love to the world. I love people. I don't belong on earth. Return me to Yahoos. To the people of Queens, I love you. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous already. Berkowitz wrote the Borelli letter. Tasty meat, Queens, and water. So I love to hunt, prowling the streets, looking for fair game. Tasty meat. The women of Queens are the prettiest of all. I must be the water they drink. I live for the hunt. My life, a blood for Papa. All right. So, of course, this is weird, right? This is one of those strange coincidences of this case that makes me really wonder about, exactly what Mike Lorenzo and I were talking about in our video about Zodiac and Son of Sam and other theories and new theories, and the whole notion that Berkowitz has more bodies than just Son of Sam. And this is one of those things that Maury Terry I got to give credit to, because if it wasn't for him, the people of the world wouldn't have done a little bit more research into the potential cases he was talking about, and then found this curious and cold case of Leslie Zarrett. And of course, if you go on to New York City Crime Spots channel, this will still be up there. This was a really fun video we did. Well, probably the wrong word, but this was actually a great. We had a great time doing this. And of course, the whole reason why I'm bringing this up is because of the letter Z, right? Prowling for fair game, tasty meat. The women of Queens are the prettiest of all. I must be the water they drink, and so on and so forth. So, like, what's up with this Z, right? And then, of course, Lorenzo found this on the side of the aqueduct warehouse, down a long list of I's, 6 of them to be exact. It ends with a Z, and who knows? I'm just speculating. Was this written by Berkey? I am not saying it was, but if it was, it would make sense, because tally of victims in Son of Sam plus Z. Okay, and maybe those were only the people he killed, but maybe they're more. Who knows? So anyway, just for speculation. But what we're looking for, of course, are similar terminologies in his apartment letters. So let's see if we can find any. So remember, tasty meat, women, Queens, water they drink. Friday, February 25th, 1977. Today is Friday, Blood Day. Today I spill blood for the people. every time I say people, for the people of Redacted and Redacted, the House of Joaquin, Blood, and the Horror Hotel. Now, just so for posterity's sake, he's talking about 18 Wicker Street and 22 Wicker Street, the Horror Hotel, and the House of Joaquin. We already did extensive work on that. My ears are ringing because the dogs are hungry and they are screaming loudly in pain. Joaquin never feeds his dogs, nor his mother any food. He relies on me to hunt for him and kill the dog's food. He likes his meat fresh and he loves warm blood. Joaquin and I like to hunt for food in Queens, mostly because the hunting is good and Queens girls' meat tastes best. Maybe it's the water they drink. Right? I mean, give me a break over here. I mean, water, we have the same exact things over here. Do I need to remind you of this? And of course, look at the Q. All right, just so we know, meat, right? Hunt, hunting, Queens, water, water they drink. I love to hunt, prowling the streets looking for fair game, tasty meat. Maury was like, "Oh, this is a Scientology. That's a Scientology reference. This means that there was an involvement of a certain person, and that person was Michael Vale Baron Day Charkowski." So anyway, getting back to the Queen. So this is the cue on the beginning of the letter to the Queen's homicide. Okay, I just cut it out. So check out how similar it is to the cue here. All right. Berkowitz wrote the Borelli Letter. Let me say that very slowly for the moron. All right, let's carry it on. Behind our house, some rest. Behind our house, some rest, mostly young, raped and slaughtered, their blood drained, just bones now. All right, so pretty haunting passage. Of course, Berkowitz wrote it. He was a great writer. He could write this stuff. He was capable of vivid imagery. I got another one for you in a second. I just need some water. One of the ways that the morons always couch their argument with regards to the letter is they always use they ate Maury's words. They go, "Whoever wrote this letter possessed urbanity and wit." And they love using the word urbanity. It makes them feel like, oh, I know a word. I'm a moron. But anyway, so they're into this urbanity. Now let's just think of what urbanity means. It's of urban, right? Of the city. But Berkowitz had urbanity. He was extremely urban. The dude grew up on Soundview Avenue. If you believe his letters to Abrahamson, he was witnessing people get hit by cars, girls dying, people falling off roofs. I mean, all sorts of stuff by the age of like 10 years old. He was seeing, he had urbanity. He was urban, and he had wit. He did. I mean, whether you like it or not, he had some wit in his writing. So what we're looking for, of course, is behind our house. We're looking for this weird term, behind our house. And he's obsessed, of course, with behind our house because he was talking about the Carr residence. And he was talking about Harvey the blood monster yelping and yapping in the backyard. And of course, on April 21st, he went and shot Harvey with I believe the 45 auto carbine. Not sure. Mike Lorenzo would have to chime in on that one. But anyway, let's look at what there has to say here. So, go out and kill, commands Father Sam. So behind our house, right? So let's ease into this one. This is a good one because we got quite a few examples. So a few of them are buried in the woods, in the wooded area in the rear of. So he's talking about 316. Okay. I'm willing to bet my life that the address redacted here is the Carr residence. So he's already talking about it in his apartment letters about burying in the wooded area in the rear of. Behind our house, some rest. Now, over here, Sam Carr, John Wheat. And of course, he's talking about John Wheat Carr, thinking that John and Wheat are one person because he found them in the phone book. He was, as Moet said, he was obsessed with the Carr family. He was obsessed with the Carr family because they just happened to be the people living in the real world at that particular moment in time in Yonkers. It was just happened to be that family. If it was another family with a dog, we'd be talking about a different family because they just happened to be there when Berkowitz moved into apartment 70 and then their two worlds collided. He was coming from two apartments, as we know, Barnes Avenue and Coligny, both with screaming dogs. He shot one in the Bronx. He left New Rochelle abruptly with the barking German Shepherds, probably because he was going to shoot their dog too. He felt himself going out of control. He leaves. He goes to Yonkers. He gets a great top floor apartment. No upstairs neighbors. Beautiful Hudson view. Let me look out the window. And then he hears the blood monster right? So of course he went nuts, and he talks about all of this in the Abrahamson letters. I mean, give me a break here, guys. I mean, all the answers for you are there. I don't know what more you want me to tell you. Sam Carr, John Wheat, Jack and Nan Cassara, and Clegg Glassman all know each other. According to voices I heard, one of them, a demon, stated that Sam Carr strangled young people and buried them behind Sam's house. The people are just bones now. However, I can hear them calling out my name and beckoning me to join them. They are all bones now, but I can hear them calling me. First of all, young people. Okay, dude loves writing people. So we already have here buried them behind the house, just bones now, same exact terminology with the same handwriting that's in the Breslin letter. People thought that the handwriting was different. No, he wrote this a few months before. He hadn't really perfected it. He talked about it being carefully concocted. He knew how to write this way from the auxiliary. I mean, we're putting the pieces together, guys. I mean, this is what's beautiful about putting this work in the last 2 years. Not just me, because remember, it ain't about me. It's about her. All right, so check this out. So behind our house, remember, we're talking about behind our house and tying up behind houses, and he's obsessed with the behind the house and everything. So when Father Sam gets drunk, he gets mean. He beats his family. Sometimes he ties me up to the back of the house. Other times he locks me in the garage. Sam loves to drink blood. I kill for Samuel Carr and his blood monster. The doubts if anybody doubts the existence of the two, then let him go to 316 Warburton Avenue and view that old horror house. Then look at old ugly Sam Carr. Then venture behind the house and gaze into the backyard. There you will see, if you are unlucky, the monster. Okay, so he was well aware of behind the house. He was obsessed with behind the house. He's talking about Sam in the Borelli letter. You know, Maury's like, oh, it's written by the sons. They hate the father. I mean, we don't know whether that's actually true. People say it. According to Wheat, they had a very loving family. I mean, I don't know. It's not for me to decide. They had nothing to do with Son of Sam. Here's another thing. I am the all-powerful Sam. I shall tie up Frances and beat her unmercifully, then chain her up to the back of my house and let the neighbors hear her howl in pain. I, Sam Carr, am a cruel, mean, deadly murderer, and I'm a bad motherfucking dude. Yeah. Honor thy father. Okay. So this, of course, to all the morons, is proof that Wheaties did it. First of all, we don't know that John Carr's nickname was actually Wheaties. I mean, I don't know where people really got that from. I mean, it came out of Maury's book, but we know that Maury's book is BS. So like we're sitting here calling this dude Wheaties, and no one really knows what the hell. No one has called him Wheaties, as far as I can tell, so far in the real world. So of course this was because Wheaties was in a pipe band and Scottish accent, and somehow or other the Sam Carr, who's from the Ukraine, was somehow Scottish, and John Carr was in a pipe band. John Carr was chanting in Untermeyer Park with the pipe band. So anyway, honor thy father. So let's read a little bit more about this. This is in The Ultimate Evil, of course. I was certain that someone who knew Sam Carr well and hated him had a hand in the composition of the Borelli letter. What do you think? John or Michael? Larry asked. I don't know who printed it, but I'd bet you anything one of them provided the words, at least some of them. He spelled honor the British way, too, with an O-U-R. Does that sound like Berkey from the Bronx? No, it doesn't, Larry laughed. I'd also say whoever wrote this was stoned on something when he did. It just sounds so crude when compared to the Breslin thing. It's just off the wall. So anyway, these two lunatics are sitting talking to each other. Larry Siegel, who had just learned about the process, told about Maury. So now Maury goes from, now we know, because Maury was blaming a cult called the Way. If you look at he was blaming a cult called the Way. If you look at the Queen's DA in 1980, he was saying the Way did it, and that Glassman and Carr all belong to the Way. I mean, give me a break. The only way here we're talking about is I got my curds and whey. So anyway, that wasn't a very good one. So these two idiots are sitting around circle jerking each other, getting all hot and bothered about stuff they don't know. The first thing about making specious connections, ignoring certain facts, making them up as they go along. But let's see what's going on with this OUR. I mean, all right, this may be a good argument. Wheaties was in the pipe band, so OUR makes sense. So let's see. Is there anything in Berkowitz's writing where he uses OUR when he shouldn't? Who has brought the wrath of this town? Where is the great Lord Bloomingdale's, their savior? Oh, why is God forsaken this place? So I got to admit, all right, it's savior. It's not honor, right? It's savior. So I get it. The argument's weak. I am killing for one reason, and that is for the honor. The honor. It's killing for the honor and service to the Samuel Carr family of 316. And we don't have to, actually, I'm going to read this thing. I am killing for one reason, and that is the honor and service to the Samuel Carr family of 316 Warburton Avenue, who have power over the Lord, the air, and me. So now he's comparing himself to the Lord and the air. I mean, think about that. That's kind of narcissistic and crazy. For the Carr family, whose goal is to have dominion over all of New York City and Westchester, whose goal is to torture and abuse, whose goal is to slay the good of earth, whose goal is to make life intolerable to the people of the world. He said people of the world. The people of the world say ho. Ayo, people of the world. So let's read this as if we were morons. John Carr, he provided the lettering because he was in the pipe band. And he's talking about his father, who he hated. Although we don't know how he hated them. I mean, does anybody really know the intimate details of the Carr family? I mean, how do we know this? Who have power over the Lord, the air, and me. For the Carr family, whose goal is to have dominion over all of NYC. See, I told you, the Carr family were the head of the process. Their goal was to have dominion over all of NYC. I mean, that's basically where their argument's at this point. So again, it hits differently when you see that he wrote savior and honor in two clearly distinct places in his apartment letters that, again, were written way before he was arrested. He wasn't writing them in jail after having read all the letters. He couldn't have read the Borelli letter. It was never printed in the newspaper. So that's basically it, guys, on the Borelli letter. I think that's those 4 or however many examples we gave are enough to prove our point. You may find more if you go and dig into the letters. It's probably a good thing for you to do. I highly recommend that you go and read these things. Again, if you're truly interested in the case and you're a true researcher in this case, you're going to do the only research that's actually possible in the real corporeal world, the world that actually exists in front of us, and that is researching the Queen's DA files, which actually a moron brought to the earth, to the people of the world. So we're not done. So we got a little bit more. So I told you that there was going to be a little Breslin reprise, and so we're going to hit that now. What are we talking about? Well, you know that I'm a thorough guy and that I like to cover my bases. So these are just some things from the Breslin show that didn't get in. So we'll cover them for a couple minutes and then we'll end the stream. Maybe I'll actually let me look at the chat before we go forward. Any questions? Anything? Any questions? So anyway, hold on. This might be good. Moet, Maurons, pipe band, circ, jerk, and love. The pipe band. So anyway, all right. So let's get to this. I'm having too much fun. See, this is why I wanted to go on such short notice tonight for this live stream. I was having a good time. The apartment's alone. It's luxurious feeling. Doesn't take much to make me happy. So I wanted to share all that with you guys out there. All right, Breslin reprise. So of course, what are we talking about? So let's read this. Hello from. So you can see now this was a few months later. He had perfected his technique. He got a little bit more angular with everything, a little bit more perfect. But there are little tells here that it's him. The R's are a little fat and weird. Sometimes words get a little strange and awkward letters. Anyway, hello from the gutters of NYC, which are filled with dog manure, vomit, stale wine, urine, and blood. Hello from the sewers of NYC, which swallow up these delicacies when they are washed away by the sweeper trucks. Hello from the cracks in the sidewalks of NYC, and from the ants that dwell in these cracks and feed on the dried blood of the dead that is seeped into these cracks. So, what are we reading here? Redacted is the house of worship for Satan and his army. The people that dwell there represent every abomination and vile thing that has ever dwelled on earth. So here he is using dwell. God loves to use the word dwell. Dwell. Okay, kind of an unusual word, actually. I mean, very few people have ever used the word dwell in their day-to-day life. You usually say, I live here. You don't really ever say, I dwell here, right? So, Berkey from the Bronx could understand this, Maury. He was perfectly capable. Berkey had intelligence. So, here we go. Perhaps we shall meet face to face someday, or perhaps I will be blown away by cops with smoking 38s. Whatever. If I shall be fortunate enough to meet you, I will tell you all about Sam if you like, and I will introduce you to him. His name is Sam the Terrible. Dear Mayor Beam, my name is David Berkowitz, and I am writing to you with the utmost urgency. There is little time left in the world because demons, Sam Carr, 316 Warburton Avenue, Jack Cassara, 174 Coligny Avenue, New Rochelle, New York, have taken a stronghold on the government. I am a dedicated gladiator who will fight the forces of darkness to the end of the earth. However, I need your help. We must work together to help the public and warn them of Sam the Terrible, foe of the people. So there he goes, Sam the Terrible, talking about people again, people, public, people. You cannot let the people forget her either. She was a very, very sweet girl, but Sam's a thirsty lad, and he won't let me stop killing until he gets his fill of blood. See, I told you Sam is a thirsty lad. So I'm not sure why I put this down here. So let's not worry about that. Actually, that is my last slide. So, wow, I thought I had more slides. Hold on one second. No, that is my last slide. So anyway, guys, I think it's pretty obvious. Disco wrote the Borelli letter. I mean, it's pretty clear. I don't know how much more clear we can make it. I mean, we're not going to really do any more of these letter analyses shows anymore. It's ridiculous at this point. It's beyond inane. It's absolute a joke at this point. Anybody who thinks that he had help is just insane at this point. So we got to just move on from all this crap, these killer tape podcasts. I'm telling you, this is the way of the future in terms of Son of Sam. And then, of course, synthesize what you're hearing in killer tape with what we have brought out about the psyche already of Berkowitz, examining the letters and so on and so forth. The two series are a perfect complement for each other. And it's just great that these guys are doing that stuff. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed tonight's little impromptu live stream. We're preparing a monster show on Phil Falcon, and John Catalano and I are really going deep on this. We're going to totally destroy what? MMB. More Maury Bullshit. Until next time.